happens. They turn on her because they would realize really quick, yeah, Peridot, you're not working for us, so stab you in the gem. All right. Second question. Invader Zim somehow managed to get Darth Vader to come to Earth and secretly builds a trap for Vader so he can use Vader to harness the power of the dark side of the Force. How does he inevitably fail? Gur comes in and switches off the trap. It would be that problem right there. And your final question is, if you and Sicric Joseph were Sith, what would you do and who would you kill? Probably nothing, because here's the thing, I think I would do... we kind of have a master and apprentice relationship as it is, because I like to torture him with HR Puff and Stuff videos when he's high. It's like, hey Rick, look what I got. No! Yes, I can feel your anger flowing through your veins. Good, good, let the hatred flow through you. It's kind of like that already, so... yeah. So thank you for that question. Those questions read Genesect. Moving on now to Predator Warrior 18, who asks, I understand that Kanan, Ezra, and the Ghost Crew are the main heroes of the story, but do you enjoy Vader kick their asses twice in the special? Yeah, because it's Vader. You know, I've said this before earlier in the video, in the Q&A. It's Vader. You can't say no to Vader. Because he's like, not only just an important character in Star Wars, he's like when you think movies or movie villains, you think Vader. If you think sci-fi, you think Vader. If you think Star Wars, you think Vader. If you think just like iconic characters like Superman or Bugs Bunny, pretty sure Darth Vader's gonna be there too. Also, I like these characters, but when it comes to Vader, you kind of knew, oh, they're gonna get smacked around hard, aren't they? Like when they drop the walker on Vader, and he just uses it to pull himself up, and he's just like, "Bitch, I'm Vader. You got nothing on me." Yeah. Second question: what are your thoughts on the Marvel comic Darth Vader series? It's awesome, sincerely awesome. I mean, yeah, we all are still kind of mad that the Dark Horse comics are kind of gone, but yeah. They've been doing some really good stuff, and now they're going to be doing... Jason Aaron and Karen Gillan are going to be doing this story that's going to intersect between the Star Wars main comic and the Darth Vader comic. I'm all in. So, yeah. Anyway, third question. Do you think that they'll do a fight between Darth Vader and Boba Fett in either in Rebels or the upcoming Boba Fett movie? It's a possibility. I think it's a possibility in either way. Anyway... Think of those questions, Predator Warrior 18. Moving on now to the Gangster Shy Guy, who asks, if Darth Sidious and Darth Bane fought, who would win? Probably Bane. The dude was a savage warrior and a master chess player. The dude would probably be outfoxing Sidious every chance he got. In fact, he may not have died, and it's kind of alluded to that he took over Darth Zena, his apprentice's body, and moved on from there. All right. What would Darth Vader think of Frieza and King Cold's empire from DBZ? He'd be impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a conqueror yet. There you go. Anyway. If you were an apprentice... I already answered this question, Gangster, so... Anyway, but thank you for those questions regardless. And moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks... how are Sith created? Pretty much, Nicholas said that he doesn't watch or read a lot of Star Wars, so he's asking how are Sith created. Original Sith were an alien race, but other Sith can be tempted by the dark side through power or rage or hatred, and they just kind of get fed up with the Jedi's BS. That's how it is. How would make a Sith? I guess how would I make a Sith? It's not hard. Anyway. How would Frieza's race from DBZ, the Diamond Authority from Steven Universe, and the Galactic Patrol from Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman, think of the Sith? Oh, they'd get wiped out. The Sith Empire kind of crumbled from within because of, there would be, one master, multiple apprentices. Apprentices would gang up on the master, and they'd all try to be killing each other for the master. So if they were all fighting these multiple groups, they'd be torn apart. Think of those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Christian Sager, who asks, "What Jedi that isn't Anakin would make the best Sith Lord?" Maybe Mace Windu, because maybe that would give him some better character. I know it's Samuel L. Jackson, but they gave him nothing to do. So maybe make him a better character. I don't know. Alright. Would you like to see any Sith have a redemption arc? If so, which one or ones? Well, I think we're already kind of getting that with Ahsoka. Hopefully they won't backtrack and make her the female Inquisitor, when it makes more sense to make Barriss said Inquisitor. Anyway. Third question. Asajj Ventress learns to twerk. That is all. Sorry, I was putting that mental image in my head and it was kind of awesome. Anyway, think of those questions, Christian Sager. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, which comic book villain do you think would make the most badass Sith Lord and why? Darth Doom. No, really, it would work. Second question, what would happen if Darth Vader and the Empire... I already answered this one with the Conquer Beach City, wouldn't do so well. What would happen if Zim and Tak became Sith Lords? They would keep Tak and boot Zim out. Zim, I am Zim. I will force choke you with my power. Get out, Zim. Tak, you can stay. Zim, get out. All right. Think of those questions, Andre. Moving on now to John Kelly, who asks, who would be the worst fictional character to become a Sith Lord? I guess Zim, like the previous question said, Zim, because it's Zim. He would more or less destroy the Sith Empire, even with the Rule of Two going on. Yeah. Second question, what did you think of Darth Vader? I already answered that one, I already said. And third question, what Sith Lord would you want to be best friends with, assuming they don't kill you first? Probably Vader. Like to be like Vader's personal assistant, that'd be cool. Alright, thank you for that question. Those questions, John Kelly. Moving on now to Dylan Malone, 14, who asks, how bad will it be if a Black Lantern ring chose a dead Sith? If they came back with Darth Bane or Darth Neithus, we'd all be screwed. Second question, who is the strongest Sith in history and why? Kind of already answered that. It's really hard to determine them, but Neithus could devour planets through the Force. Pretty powerful. Third question, do you think someone from the Sith can renounce their evil ways and become a Jedi? It's been kind of done before. I mean, that's how the Exar Kun War ended, when his apprentice was like, oh my god, I just murdered my brother and I'm working for the wrong side. I gotta kill you now. Brah! So, and also, let's not forget Ventress. Anyway. So thank you for those questions, Dylan Malone, 14. Moving on now to the Spawn 117, who asks, what would Darth Vader say to Korra after the Empire took over the Avatar's planet? He would probably say something like, your power was nothing compared to the power of the dark side. Now your planet will burn and service the Empire. Probably something like that. What would you like to see a game that's just on Vader himself? Absolutely, I'd like to see a Vader-centric game. I mean, after playing, the first level of Star Wars Force Unleashed, where you play as Vader for the first level on Kashyyyk, I was kind of like, man, I want to do more of this. Forget Starkiller, I want to be Vader. Alright. What if Vader made his own non-comic Dark Avengers team? What non-comic characters would be on his team? Cyclonus, Gideon, Prophet of Truth, just to name a few. There you go. I would think about this more, but I'm not good at team building right off the bat. Anyway, next question comes from Alex Inayez, who thank you for those questions, the Spawn 117. Moving on to Alex Inayez, who asks, which fictional characters from any franchise would be suitable to become Sith? Kind of already answered this already, so yeah. Second question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how evil are Sith, since there is a lot of competition there, to be honest? How evil are Sith? They're on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 11. What more do I need to say? Do Sith have a great sense of fashion or what? Yeah. Chicks dig the cape. That's all I can say. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Alex. Moving on now to Nolan Uno, who asks, my question is about the new Star Wars movie. Are you disappointed that the Galactic Empire has not fallen since Return of the Jedi? It kind of makes sense, really, because it's an empire. I mean, yeah, you lost the Emperor, but, you know, the Emperor, it's an empire. It can have multiple people. I mean, hell, in the original trilogy, during the Grand Admiral Thrawn saga, Thrawn took over, and he wasn't even an emperor. He was just an admiral who put back the empire together and kind of kicked some ass. So I'm kind of cool with them, even though they lost Vader and the Emperor. They're just like, wait, we have bunches of guys here. Let's kick some ass. Anyway. So anyway, thank you for those questions, Nolan. Moving on now to Alec Johnson, who asks, what villains from video games and Disney animated shows like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, such as Bowser, Eggman, Ganondorf, Shao Kahn, Invader Zim, Sephiroth, Moto Jojo, Metal Sonic, and Albert Wesker, M. Bison, and Evil Emperor Zur would make awesome badass Sith Lords? Everyone except Zim. He would be kicked out of the club. Yeah. Second question. Which Sith would you have as villains from Ben Tennyson, Buzz Lightyear, and Space Ghost to fight? Probably Vader, Maul, and Sidious come to mind. Third question. Are you going to do any Legends of Evil segments on other Sith characters in the future? Well, I've done a few, but I had to take them down, so yeah, might do Neothis in the future, might do Sidious. A lot to talk about with Sidious, really. Anyway, so, yeah, long story short, yeah, I do. Anyway, moving on now to Jesse Sutres, who asks, how would you write a Star Wars Infinity comic book in which Grand Admiral Thrawn became a Sith Lord following the events of Return of the Jedi? I think what I would do, I think if I made Thrawn, you know, a Sith, I think that would be the easy way out, because really what makes Thrawn so interesting as a villain and as a character is that he didn't need the Force to be literally, no pun intended, a force to be reckoned with. He was really a powerhouse on his own, but since it's Infinity, it's like a what-if series. I would say maybe just put the, use tactics from the ancient Sith Empire and apply that to modern tactics. Probably something like that. Alright, second question. Alright, SQL notwithstanding, do you think Galen Starkiller's light side backstory could be interpreted as a critique of the Gary Stu trope found in several fanfiction stories? Here's the thing. I don't think, this whole Mary Sue, Gary Stu kind of thing, it feels more like, when people have to critique a character because they're too perfect. As long as this, story is everything. And while I go back and look at Force Unleashed, and the crippling thing is that the Emperor should have been able to sense Starkiller sooner, I feel like there was still a really good story there to be told. Anyway, so it didn't really bother me as much, but I think that was the only thing that did kind of come up in my mind. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Jesse. Moving on now to Geek393, who asks, how do you think the OT would have played out if Starkiller and Darth Vader did usurp Vader... original trilogy. Did usurp Sidious rather than Vader betraying him? Probably gone a lot worse, because then Vader would have been totally corrupt, and, the last vestiges of what was left of Anakin Skywalker would have died alongside there. And, yeah, there was no way Luke could take on someone like, he could hold his own because Vader was a little slower, but still had a lot of skill behind him. Starkiller was pretty fast and was very powerful in the ways of the Force. So, would have been a lot worse for him. All right, second question. Second question. What would happen if Darth Maul